sometimes we find that relationships are getting more and more difficult to be sustained for a longer period of time, be it the relationship between parents and children, between friends, between spouses, between colleagues at the workplace. It's becoming difficult to sustain a beautiful, healthy, trusting relationship. Uh, why do you think it's happening more and more?
Yes, it is kind of, this is a challenge as such, and it's a challenge for all of humanity in a very global scale. I don't think uh, there's any part of the world where this particular problem is not uh, really assuming greater and greater proportions to make humans very unhappy in life, very stressed out, and to sustain it, as you said it very rightly, sustaining it. Relationships can be built. That's not an issue. You can be friends with anyone in no time. But when it comes to sustaining the relationship, like when you are in the process, for example, you talked about the spouses and girlfriend, boyfriends, as long as they are dating, or maybe in an advanced society, we find living together. As long as they're doing that, there are frictions, there are, agreements to be disagreement, kind of a stuff. But still, they go on. But have you seen one thing? This is very surprising. The moment they get into the legal bondage of marriage, then things starts to change dramatically. And divorces and separations, they are all over the world in huge number in every society. And I'm really, really surprised to see this happening so much in India, where we had such a beautiful, joint family system, and at the same time, the family values are very tight there, very, very strong there, and family ties were very strong. So yes, people grew up in families where there was such beautiful bonding between their brothers and siblings and friends, and obviously they saw so much of. But what I personally would say is this: as long as there is that sense of sacrifice was there, not matter of convenience over sacrifice. See, the thing is this: if you live on the basis of your own self-centered likes, dislikes, preferences, priorities, and if that becomes kind of a ground from where you operate with the other, whoever it could be, it could be as parents, it could be your children, as spouse, as it could be husband, wife. In the office, it could be the relationship between the boss and the staff. It's not about it. It's basically where it is shooting from. It is shooting from a kind of a deep-seated unconsciousness, unawareness. And that's the reason you find globally, again, simultaneously another phenomenon that's really taking over is that the need for yoga and meditation, breathing practices, they are becoming more and more popular globally, all over the world. I mean, I'm in Australia now, and I see so many Australians going to India, and particularly to Rishikesh. That's the place where they're all zeroing in. And why they are going to Rishikesh? Because Rishikesh, there are lots of mushrooming of such yoga training centers, and these people go there to learn yoga and get some particular licenses or certification, credential, by which they can get back to their own country. It could be from America, it could be Europe, from any part of the world. They're all coming to India, and particularly to Rishikesh and other places. Why? Because all other things are failing. Hence the need for alternative. They call it alternative. That's a very key word now being used all over the world. Alternative. For example, I'm going to Byron Bay. It's about a few 100 kilometers from here. It's a place completely going to be, it's completely spiritually very vibrant place. A lot of people come there, all for healing, for meditation, for alternative. Now, in order to sustain in a relationship, the core value is self-awareness. Until and unless I am at peace with myself, until and unless I feel a sense of contentment within me, until and unless I am able to have some reins over my own thoughts and patterns of my beliefs, patterns of my subconscious programs which drive me all the time. If I don't have control over me and my mind, you can be rest assured it will be difficult for me to manage with anybody in this world, because again and again, unconsciously, I'll go into the mode of controlling. But you know very well that none of us are very happy to be controlled. We are happy to control, but we are not happy to be controlled. This is absolutely unacceptable. So, when you talk about the sustainability of any human relationship, then at some point we all need to realize one thing, and that is, if we don't work in the ground of our own mind and the ground of our own body, if we don't work with the tool of our breathing, and if we don't try to dive little deeper in the ocean of our own body, which is a community of trillions of cells, it's an oceanic depth. And in this oceanic depth of cellular body, there is yet another ocean that is called the subconscious program of the mind. This subconscious program is from the earliest childhood or from births together from behind, which comes to you, and as a result, until unless you are able to really have access to your subconscious mind, work at that particular subconscious level, which only meditation can take you, which only yoga can take you, which only breathing practices can take you, because these are the practices which have come down to all of us, the humanity all over the world, from ancient past, from the land of Bharat, that is India. So there the yogis and rishis and great Mahatmas, they penance with ultimate austerities possible. And in the human body, as they dive deep into it, they found that there were two eye. One eye is the bodily mind identified. I mean bodily identified, mind identified, and external objects identified. That's one eye, which is an egoic mind, conditioned mind, filled with preconceived notions of what I like or I don't like. This is a mindset. Now the yogis understood that behind all this that I am, which I think I am, there is I am, which is much deeper, vast, and its horizon is bigger than big. So when they, like a diver in the ocean, when they dived into the ocean of their own body mind, they gradually and gradually came to a state where the mind did not have the power to think so much, and that to crisscrossing each other, creating a chaotic state in the mind. So from chaos, gradually they came to a state of order. From, from too many thoughts crisscrossing each other, they could reduce the number of thoughts. And as the number of thoughts were reduced, they could have access into their subconscious mind. When they could have access to their subconscious mind, automatically they could find monsters there. They could find what are his or her own inbuilt, uh, you know, evil things that have been hiding. And so far, this person has been thinking, why all these people are so negative around me? Why somebody is so bad, so rude to me? And every time a person sees others like this, in and around, in the society, in the family, in the workplace, in the business, he or she doesn't understand one thing. She or he is basically seeing the inner subconscious layers and patterns, which is unseen, unknown by this person. It is hiding, suppressed inside of the same person. Now it is gradually reflected energetically outside. So as a result, what happens is that outside you find that there are evil people surrounding you, negative people surrounding you. You say, why they have to bump into me only? Why? Why can't people love each other? Why can't people, help each other, heal each other? But these are idealistic thoughts. These are idealistic thoughts. You know very well, these are idealistic thoughts. It is an idealistic situation, idyllic situation, euphoric situation. But actual practicality, we know we are basically conflicting between and amongst the different subconscious programs and patterns of different individuals, and that's the reason you cannot sustain relationship. So my final reply to your question is this: if you're really serious, if you really want to be happy, then understand one thing: this has to be your ultimate gift to yourself. This has to be your ultimate gift to yourself, and don't expect anybody to gift it to you in a plate. Don't expect it from any doctors to give you. Don't expect it from any healers to give you. Don't expect from any spouses to give you. Don't expect from your children to give you. Don't expect from your bosses to give you. Don't expect from anybody to give you, for that matter. But the day you start giving it to yourself, there is a huge chance that in this very life cycle, you can see that your transformed being is giving you that which nobody else could ever give you. And that is sustained state of happiness. Others gave you, you were happy as long as the giving process was there. But the other person is also at the mercy of the subconscious pattern of that person. Anytime the other person can withdraw or can become a monster to you, become very unfriendly, can withdraw, plug out. You can't say that. So, why? Why do you think at some point you need to come to yourself? Because you are at the center of your universe. And if you don't come to your center, if you only operate on the peripheries, you will never ever touch the core, and hence you will always be a stranger to yourself and stranger to the world, and hence there cannot be any such possibility of a sustained happy relationship that can keep you also happy. So for any relationship to sustain, first make sure your relationship to you, I repeat, for any relationship to sustain, make sure your relationship with you, that means your mind relationship with your core inner mind, that is pure. Between the impure mind and the pure mind, between the egoic mind and the egoless mind. By mind, I mean your existential beingness, that witnessing consciousness. Between this, let the relationship be bridged first. And nothing can bridge it unless you hold the hands of someone who has walked this path. So I come back to the same thing. Find a mentor. I heard somewhere in the YouTube, if you want to soar, find a mentor, something like that. I said, that's really a good kind of a slogan. If you want to soar, find a mentor. Yes, for anything and everything. If you really want to soar, if you want to really reach, if you want to really find, if you want to really realize, find a realized teacher. Find somebody who has walked that path, who can show you the path, who can share with you the path, and then things will be so much different for you, because you know that you can open your heart uh, with absolute trust to that person, and seek his or guidance, and you can walk the path. There's no issue, and once you walk, you reach. 1,000 miles journey starts with the first step. So also, if you start your relationship of this 1,000 miles journey to reach your core witnessing consciousness, which you are, start from your own egoic self. Don't crush it. Don't suppress it. Don't feel ashamed of it. Don't feel ashamed of your own follies and mistakes. Just create new ground of your mind, which is in a higher state. Put your mind into a higher state of consciousness. Put your mind into higher focus. Put your mind into positive thoughts and ideas and plans. Do things by which your compassion can get its outlet. Do things by which you can help heal and at the same time help yourself. That way you can grow, and that way you can help the people around you. And as you help and you help yourself, it's a beautiful journey. Basically, I'm telling you all because this is exactly what I do. If there is any doing in me, which is not there, but if there is any doing, you see, it's all the self trying to communicate to the self that is the witnessing self, trying to reach out to the beauty and the divinity in each and everything, in this entire nature of trees and beautiful birds and the sky, blue sky. Everything is communicating to us. Love thyself. It's all telling me love thyself first. If you can love your own self, your eyes will see differently, your ears will hear differently, your mind will just speak to you differently, and you'll find the entire environment outside and inside, they are in harmony with each other. This harmony is enlightened state.